Hello, I'm Ali,
I'm Deb.
and welcome to another episode of Connected Conversations. One question I love to ask strangers, especially meeting people in my condo or on the street, is once I get into a conversation, yes, there's always a hi, how are you? Have a great day. Though usually work comes up somewhere in a conversation with people because it consumes so much of our life. And when I get talking to strangers or people that I know, a question I love to ask is, so what do you do and do you love what you do? And it's incredible to see the response. Sometimes people get lit up about what they're doing and could talk for hours. And that's the way I feel about flow. I met a gentleman last night and he is a lobbyist. I was
Oh.
like, oh, that sounds like a big conversation that we won't have tonight. Anyway, he just was having a rough day. So today, Deb and I were choosing to talk about career happiness and what does that look like? How can you achieve it? And the whole life cycle of career is really cool. And when I started coaching, I started with helping people navigate career changes and transitions. And I still love it. It's still part of where I'll help and support my friends. And recently I had a girlfriend say to me, you know what, I made a job change because I would have got a whole lot of money. And now I realize that culture and values are worth so much more than that extra money in the bank because she's on a search for a new one. And I don't know, I've had kind of that same life lesson, or I didn't do enough research with companies, or the values that they stated did not reflect. So we're going to go through this our journeys with our careers and some tidbits that we've found along the way in navigating life. Deb and I are both entrepreneurs now, coaches, getting back into the corporate space. Though, Deb, I'd love to hear about career happiness. What does career happiness mean to you?
Yeah, I was just actually researching that it's approximately 90,000 hours you spend at work. That's a significant, like over the course of a lifetime, that's a significant amount. So if you are not happy, if you are not choosing something that you are passionate about, that's a long time to kind of sit there in this empty, I would say empty space. Um, I think for me, my company sold, so my family sold our company. So that was just a moment in time for me to really reflect on, did the new company really support my values, how I treat my customers, my relationship with my customers, and was that aligned with me? And over that time, and it was getting to the point where I was kind of stagnant. There wasn't really, I could have taken over my dad's position, but that was a big seat to fill. And with kids and everything, was that going to make me happy? And I had to ask myself some hard questions. And at the end of the day, I wasn't fulfilled. I was kind of stagnant, and there wasn't much opportunity for growth. And I think over the course of our company, it kind of grew, but without the right processes in place. So I acknowledged that that was going to be a very difficult endeavor to really change the corporate culture to what I really felt in my heart. So and it was getting uncomfortable going into work. My body didn't like it. I wasn't eating. So you have to look at some of those physiological things that go on. But I also, I heard this from Abraham Hicks, like you can change any situation by the way you look at a situation. So back then, could have could I have embraced parts of my job that maybe I didn't like a little bit more? Could I have shifted my mindset? Like if you go into work and there's, Harry down the hall and he's never very nice to you, and you kind of resist that interaction with them. Could you view it differently? Maybe Harry's going through a hard time in his life. Have you ever sat down and had a conversation with Harry? Maybe it's a conversation about, Harry, I feel like a disconnect. Is there something, maybe you could grant Harry a very nice smile every morning just to see if that shifts. I think there's different ways to look at it. But when it comes to passion, if you are really unfulfilled in your job, you are spending thousands of hours at this place of work. And is there something that you can, I don't know, start on the side, find your passion, find your why, and start working towards it? Tell us a little bit about your experience in the corporate world.
I've been on a pursuit of career happiness. I feel like my whole entire life. A purpose question I have that just gnaws at me is, can you do what you love and make money? And usually when I ask people that question, they're like, yeah, I love what I do. I'm like, have that starving artist archetype to me. Or they, yeah, I make a ton of money and I don't love it. So that's not the question. I think people are like, they're not listening or not hearing. Ask yourself, do you believe that you can do what you absolutely love and make the money you want to achieve? And I think those two items can like really mix with your brain, especially when we think about conditioning and paradigms that we're built with, that like you got to do hard work, you just got to make money, it's not going to be easy, or you have to stick with this, or you have to do this. Like look at how maybe you're raised, and those two questions can really start to mix and mingle in your mind about your actual belief system. You might say yes cognitively, like, yeah, absolutely, I want to do what I love and make money. So does your belief support it? And that's what
Mhm.
I've been challenging. So I started in corporate. I thought I would go up the ranks in banking. Not for me. I used to cry before I went to work. I hated it. Then I went into risk management insurance. I was a human resource and operations manager. Absolutely love that organization. When I look back at my stint with that company specifically, it had everything that I wanted. And then we were acquired and we merged, and the clash of cultures was, it was night and day. So after a year, it was just, I'm not the right HR person for this because I'm not with the new values of the new company. So I moved into tech, loved the tech. I love smaller businesses that are about 250 people, that are mom and pop, they'll have the resources and the room to grow. I find for myself, big corporate is not where I thrive. And that's for me. So those are some questions that I've asked myself along the journey. Like, what kind of corporate environment would I want to work with? I love leadership. I love innovation. I love creativity. That's why I'm into solopreneurship, helping other people learn how to be more creative and find flow in their days. So that lights me up. I've also wondered, like, what are my passions? You mentioned passion. If you don't know what you're passionate about, just start getting curious. Get curious, go down those rabbit holes on YouTube, read a book, talk to an expert,
Try a
and
new
let
hobby.
your,
Try a new hobby.
yeah, and so, like, literally suck at something new, because when you allow yourself just to go full force and have fun with it, you probably will be surprised about how much you can grow just by having fun and getting curious. And then trusting you have gifts inside and you have something to give to someone else greater than you. When we have purpose in life, that why, that meaning, that as well will help your motivation. And you have skills that we want to master as human beings. We want to grow and evolve. And when we have something that we want to give, you can find the craft in your gift, whatever that is. And it's not if you have it, you do have it. That's a search for yourself of what you want to give, and the freedom to express yourself, the freedom to make choices. Autonomy is a huge breaker. And I find when I talk to people that are burnt out, they're really lacking autonomy in their job, that might feel like they're too squashed and they don't have that, like, yes, I can do this, or that freedom of creativity, or being able to make their own schedules that work for them. Like, there is an element of autonomy. Do you have that freedom to make those things? So asking yourself all those questions, I found over the course of the last 15 years, have helped me navigate through various different roles and jobs. Some have flourished, and others I have looked at it and be like, I do not belong here. Like, this is not for me. And
But there's
that's
something in
knowing
failing
when to
forward,
walk
right?
away. Yeah.
There's something in failing forward too. And I think, anything new is going to be scary. Anything, whether it's like starting to run is scary. It's
Mhm.
hard. You have to really have the belief behind you that you can do it. So I think that's going to be with anything, whether it's a new project, a new hobby, facing the fear and doing it anyway. Like stepping into entrepreneurship and taking that leap was not easy. And along the way, it's really garnered me more strength and resilience in myself. Not looking for somebody to say, "Oh, you're doing a great job." It's really that self belief in me that I know that I'm meant for more and that I can be that person and having that belief. And that's a lot of people get that fight or flight. I talk about that in stress management, that can you use that energy instead of looking at it as anxiety? Can you look at it like your body is propelling you or giving you the energy to try something new? So I think that's a huge thing when you're going to try something new. It's going to be uncomfortable, but I guarantee the lessons along the way, whether you succeed or whether you fail, it's going to be worth it.
And just allowing it to be feedback and part of the journey. Like you say, like it's just it's allowing yourself to make those choices, and you have the choice. Sometimes when I talk to people, it's like they're stuck in this role. It's like, no, you can choose to leave, find a different role, though there's opportunity out there. There's a lot of opportunity out there.
And I think looking for support, like if you are in corporate or you're in a job and you're feeling stagnant and maybe you want to grow, maybe you want to be promoted. So it's having maybe conversations with your supervisor, conversations with the HR department. How can I do better if you like where you are, but maybe aren't in the role that you want to be? I think there's always, if you're solution oriented, you're looking for solutions. How can I be better? How can I ask management to support me in a different space? So I think, there's a lot of things when it comes to career. It's not jumping out of something just because, really seeing if it aligns with your goals, whether you have the support from your team, if that's a thing, or trying something new and finding a passion on the side and then really going for it, if that's what you choose to do. And again, it all comes down to choice.
Mm-hmm.
So I
One
think
exercise that I love to do is like, if you want a role or you're not sure, find someone that you really admire and ask them out for like a coffee or a Zoom date, and just say like, I really admire what you do. I'd love to hear your story, or just any guidance you may have. And whenever I've done that and reached out to, again, women that I've never met before that have what I want, or done something that I want to do, they're always willing to help. And I've gotten so much great information and insight from someone that's like those few steps ahead or can give me those insights. So I'll challenge whoever is listening. Like if you're looking for that change and you're like, I'd really like this, like take a look in your network or someone that might know someone in that network, and ask them for a coffee or a few moments of their time, and might be pleasantly surprised with what insights you can have.
people are willing to help. Like you don't have to do it alone. And I think that's, I think a lot of times we want to be this fearless person and just dive right in and have to do it all on our own, but you don't. There's lots of resources out there. I also got my daughter before she applied for university, because that is a big thing. I wanted her to really know whether that was aligned with who she is as a person. So I hired her a career coach. I've used mentors. If you want to be a good public speaker, go to those Toastmasters. They're great. I've done a few classes, or watch how somebody speaks on YouTube and, take note of how they use their voice, their gestures, or stories to really bring their point across. I think there's so many resources out there, and it's not just reinventing the wheel. Lots of people have done it. You get to take your own spin on whatever it is that might be for you. But use those resources, ask questions, and like you said, be curious.
Mm-hmm. Be in the pursuit that you can do what you love and make money. I triple dog dare you to do what you love and make money.
Get through those money blocks. Well, I hope that if you are not passionate about what you're doing, that you will find your why, find your passion, and start working towards it. We will be back to kickstart your week next week. And next Thursday, we will have another episode of Connected Conversations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share with your friends and rate and recommend on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. There will be links to more great resources in the description.